We have always been told that the Amazon rainforest is the pristine green lung of our planet, an untouched wilderness that has existed in its natural state for millions of years. But what if this beautiful narrative is the greatest deception in human history? What if the sprawling canopy, the twisting rivers, and the endless sea of green are nothing more than a carefully constructed biological camouflage? Last year, a highly classified LiDAR scanning operation, originally intended to map ancient riverbeds, accidentally leaked an image that sent shockwaves through the closed doors of the scientific community. When the radar stripped away the dense foliage and penetrated 30 meters beneath the alluvial soil, it did not reveal a layer of ancient roots or the expected geological bedrock. Instead, the monitors displayed an impossible geometry, a colossal, perfectly symmetrical network of metallic structures, crisscrossing and pulsing like an unimaginable electronic motherboard buried right under the heart of the jungle. And the scale of this anomaly is not the size of a city, but the size of an entire continent. This is an ancient secret, so profoundly terrifying that it threatens to rewrite everything we know about the origins of our world. For decades, traditional archaeology in the Amazon basin has been a story of humble discoveries. Researchers would spend years digging through the humid earth, only to find the scattered remains of primitive tribes, fragments of clay pots, and perhaps the faint outlines of small agricultural settlements. The established scientific consensus was absolute. Humanity in this region was always primitive, constantly battling the overwhelming forces of nature just to survive. Every textbook taught us that the Amazon was a place where advanced civilization could never take root. But every day, as satellite technology advanced, the whispers of something hidden beneath the canopy grew louder, until one day the introduction of deep, penetrating LiDAR technology changed the paradigm forever. LiDAR, which uses rapid laser pulses to map the surface of the Earth through the thickest vegetation, was supposed to find forgotten Mayan or Incan outposts. But the data returned from the deepest, most inaccessible sectors of the Brazilian rainforest defied all logic. The topographical map revealed an intricate grid of massive tube-like formations running perfectly parallel to each other for hundreds of miles before making sharp 90-degree turns. Nature does not create perfect right angles. Nature does not construct underground pipelines with a diameter of 50 meters, perfectly aligned with the magnetic poles of the Earth. As geological teams secretly mobilized to analyze the soil layers above this structure, the mystery only deepened. Sediment core samples extracted from the site provided a terrifying timeline. The layers of Earth burying this colossal network date back at least 30,000 years. This means this structure was already ancient during the last ice age, a time when our ancestors were supposedly still hunting mammoths with stone spears. The scientific community is entirely baffled. According to the linear timeline of human evolution, it is physically and chronologically impossible for any civilization to have possessed the engineering capacity to build a continent-spanning subterranean grid 30 millennia ago. Because of this, the most brilliant minds in geology and archaeology are facing a complete collapse of their foundational theories. The situation escalated from confusing to deeply alarming when clandestine drilling operations managed to extract microscopic fragments from the structure itself. The metallurgical analysis of these samples produced a result that should be impossible on this planet. The material was not iron, not bronze, and not any known earthly steel. It was cast from an alloy composed primarily of iridium. Iridium is one of the rarest elements in the Earth's crust, an ultra-dense, hyper-resilient metal that is almost exclusively found in meteorite impact craters. To manufacture a structure of this unimaginable magnitude using an iridium alloy, the builders would have needed an amount of this precious metal that vastly exceeds the total mining output of human history. Furthermore, forging iridium requires industrial furnaces capable of sustaining temperatures well over 2,000 degrees Celsius, an industrial capacity that we are only just beginning to achieve in our modern era. The scientists are helpless. They cannot explain how a prehistoric civilization, lacking any known industrial infrastructure, managed to harvest, melt, and shape an extraterrestrial metal into a geometric grid beneath the largest rainforest on Earth. This discovery is so far ahead of its time that it completely breaks the laws of historical progression. The sheer physics of the structure defies earthly engineering. The subterranean tubes show no signs of corrosion, no structural decay, despite being submerged in highly acidic Amazonian soil for thousands of millennia. They are completely seamless, exhibiting no welding marks, no rivets, and no points of physical connection, as if the entire continent-sized network was printed or molded in a single, continuous motion. When researchers sent acoustic sonar waves down into the deep earth to measure the acoustic resonance of the metal, the feedback loop was perfectly uniform, indicating that the walls of these structures are incredibly thin, yet possess a tensile strength that makes our strongest titanium look like fragile glass. Every piece of data collected from the site only serves to amplify the absolute impotence of modern science. Geologists cannot explain the stratigraphic anomaly. Metallurgists cannot comprehend the iridium alloy, and historians are left staring at a gaping void in the human timeline. We are looking at a phantom technology, a ghost in the machine of our planet. Because of this absolute scientific paralysis, a darker, more sinister reality begins to emerge from the shadows of global finance and classified military operations. If this subterranean structure is truly so ancient, so physically impossible, and so scientifically inexplicable, why has it remained completely hidden from the public eye? The answer does not lie in the laboratories, but in a series of bizarre, highly classified corporate transactions that have been quietly taking place over the last 2 decades. Multinational energy conglomerates, shell companies, and anonymous shadow corporations have been suddenly and aggressively spending billions of dollars to purchase the exclusive land rights to the most remote, pristine sectors of the Amazon core. And yet, here is the terrifying paradox that no environmental agency wants to talk about. Despite acquiring these massive, resource-rich territories, these corporations have not chopped down a single tree. They have not built a single commercial surface mine. The heavy machinery that is secretly flown into these restricted green zones under the cover of night is not for extracting timber or common minerals. Satellite espionage has revealed that they are bringing in deep-earth sonic drills, electromagnetic shielding equipment, and teams of military-grade geophysicists. The airspace above these specific sectors has been silently declared no-fly zones by the local governments, enforced by unmarked military drones. But the operations on the ground are yielding no commercial products. When the clandestine drilling teams first penetrated the upper crust of the anomaly, their equipment experienced catastrophic failures. Drill bits made of industrial diamond shattered upon contact with the iridium surface, as if hitting an impenetrable force field. The electromagnetic interference radiating from the dormant grid was so intense that it scrambled the navigation systems of helicopters flying miles above, creating a localized Bermuda Triangle right over the canopy. Furthermore, biologists who were secretly brought in to analyze the flora directly above the grid noticed something deeply unsettling. The genetic mutation rate of the trees growing over the primary metallic nodes is hundreds of times faster than anywhere else in the jungle. The roots of these ancient trees do not just grow around the metal. They seem to be actively repelled by a faint, lingering energetic pulse, creating hollow, perfectly smooth chambers beneath the earth. This explains why local indigenous tribes have passed down terrifying legends for centuries, speaking of the metal underworld and the sleeping gods who hum beneath their feet. For generations, anthropologists dismissed these stories as primitive mythology, but the LiDAR data has violently transformed these myths into hard, undeniable scientific data. Therefore, a radical, almost unthinkable hypothesis has begun to violently circulate among rogue researchers and whistleblower scientists who have risked their lives to speak out. What if the Amazon rainforest, the so-called green lung of our planet, is not a natural phenomenon at all? What if this entire sprawling, hyper-diverse biological ecosystem is actually a deliberate, carefully engineered camouflage? Consider the chilling possibility that the Earth is not a pristine Mother Nature, waiting to be lovingly explored, but rather an abandoned, colossal industrial facility of planetary proportions. The geometric iridium network buried 30 meters below the surface strongly resembles a global-scale geothermal energy grid. The layout of the metallic veins perfectly mirrors the fracture lines of the South American tectonic plate. This suggests that the grid was designed to harness the raw, unimaginable tectonic power of the Earth's mantle, perhaps stabilizing earthquakes or drawing infinite energy directly from the planetary core. Who could have built such a monstrous machine? It points to a civilization so frighteningly advanced that they treated the Earth itself as a mechanical engine. A civilization that existed tens of thousands of years before the first human supposedly learned to make a fire. But a civilization of that magnitude does not simply vanish without a trace. This leads to the most disturbing question of all. Was this network left behind after a catastrophic extinction-level event that wiped them from existence, or did they simply shut the system down and leave for the stars? The dense, impenetrable jungle above might not be nature taking its course. It might be the result of a genetically seeded biological blanket, designed to rapidly overgrow and hide the machinery of the gods from the eyes of whatever primitive species emerged next. And we are that primitive species. We are entirely powerless to comprehend the true magnitude of this reality. Our greatest scientists, armed with the most advanced satellites and quantum computers, are standing at the edge of this discovery, like helpless toddlers staring at a nuclear reactor. We cannot decipher the mathematical purpose of the iridium nodes. We cannot breach the outer hull of the main conduits. We certainly do not know how to power the grid, and we are terrified of what might happen if someone accidentally turns it back on. The sheer arrogance of modern science is being stripped away layer by layer. We thought we had conquered the Earth, mapping every inch from space. But the Amazon anomaly proves that we have only been scratching the surface of a deeply engineered world. Every time a new LiDAR image is rendered, the metallic web seems to extend further, stretching across borders, hinting that the Amazon is merely one sector of a global machine. Are there other nodes buried under the Sahara? Under the ice of Antarctica? The silence from the leading archaeological institutions is not just a lack of answers, it is a coordinated suppression of panic. Because acknowledging the existence of the iridium grid means accepting that our entire existence might just be a brief, insignificant anomaly in the lifespan of a planet governed by unseen masters. The very foundation of our civilization is built on the ruins of something we cannot even begin to understand. Until finally, we are forced to accept an open, agonizing conclusion that leaves a permanent void in our understanding of the universe. The truth of our origins, the true history of planet Earth, is buried beneath the suffocating mud and twisting roots of the Amazon, locked within indestructible iridium walls that our modern science simply cannot penetrate. The academic community remains entirely paralyzed, bound by impenetrable non-disclosure agreements, government threats, and a profound existential fear of rewriting human history. We are left staring up at the endless green canopy, no longer seeing a beautiful forest, but a massive, silent burial ground for forgotten gods. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Join us next time as we uncover the chilling truth about the hexagonal structures currently melting out of the Antarctic ice. A classified discovery that might just reveal exactly where those ancient architects went next.